It is called the Marketplace Fairness Act, but most of us think that there's nothing fair about a plan that would increase taxes on the Internet. The Senate is expected to pass the bill, but that is less certain in the House. Now, you might expect that a huge Internet retailer would automatically oppose such a new tax as bad for business, and some do. But that's not exactly true for our next guest. Joining us for a first on Fox Business is Jonathan Johnson. He is Overstock.com executive and former president. Jonathan, before anything else, I got to say our best wishes to Patrick Byrne, the founder of Overstock, who is a dear friend of ours. We love him and we wish him the very best. I know he's recovering from an illness. Okay, so let's deal with this Internet tax, because I wonder whether Patrick would be in favor of this. Are you or are you not in favor of this?
We're not in favor of this bill. We think this bill is anything but fair. But we're not opposed to the right type of federal solution, which gets rid of the patchwork of laws across all the states.
Okay, let's be specific here. There are 9,646 separate sales tax regimes around the country, depending on the state and the local taxes, and those things change all the time. So there are a huge number, and this so-called Fairness Act would force Internet companies who sell on the Internet to adhere to know about every separate tax that is out there, correct? And use it in their sales process.
Every separate tax down to the exact house. A lot of people think it's as simple as plugging in the right zip code, but there are zip codes that cross multiple tax jurisdictions. For example, there are zip codes that straddle the California and Oregon border. Oregon has no sales tax. California has high sales tax.
So what is the rule right now about this? Because some people who have depended, I know Art Laffer, the man behind the Laffer curve, who's just about against any tax I heard, he was in favor of this. Why do you think some people favor this bill and others don't?
Well, the rule right now is states can't force out-of-state retailers to collect tax if they don't have some kind of physical presence in the state. The tax is still due. It's due by the purchaser. Very rarely does that purchaser pay the tax. So what Congress is trying to do is allow states to conscript out-of-state retailers to be their tax collector, but they're not doing it with the proper amount of simplification to make the job easy for those that aren't boots on the ground.
Okay, hold on 1 second here. We do have some breaking news. I want to go to Joe Kent at our breaking news desk, who has some breaking news. Go ahead, Joe.
Hi, David. Brian Shaw has agreed to plead guilty, according to the Wall Street Journal, to federal conspiracy charges in the KPMG insider trading case. Now, he's agreed to disgorge $1.27 million in illegal stock trading profits. He admits he plotted, according to the Wall Street Journal, with KPMG partner to commit securities fraud. Shaw will make an initial appearance in U.S. District Court in this KPMG case later this week. David?
Very much. Appreciate it. Jonathan, sorry for the interruption. Is there any Internet tax here? Because, again, I was surprised in reading one of your pieces on this particular text in which you say that Overstock.com thinks it is time for Congress to act to resolve certain issues regarding taxation. What would you like to see on the Internet that we don't yet have vis-a-vis taxation?
Well, we'd like to see it so that if a be passed, it solves it across all 50 states. Right now, there are dozens of states that have different laws, and it's very difficult to comply. If Congress is going to act, its law should preempt all those various state laws and make one single law so that Internet retailers can figure out how to comply and just get it done.
But, Jonathan, I understand that might simplify things, but wouldn't that mean that we would have a federal Internet tax, which a lot of us think is a disaster?
Yeah, I certainly don't want a federal Internet tax. What I'd like to see Congress do is say, states, you can ask remote retailers to collect, but only if you make things simple and only if you follow these federal laws.
But when have they ever made? Every time you have the Congress getting into a tax, it always, even if they call it a simplified tax, it makes it more complex.
Generally the case. And I think the thing that counterbalances that here is these are taxes which are owed, which the states can't find a way to collect right now. If they have to take some simplification provisions to collect money that's sitting on the table that they can't get at without folks like Overstock.com collecting it for them. I think they will make those simplifications.
Okay. By the way, if the tax as it is now written goes from the Senate to the House, you would advise the House to vote it down, correct?
We oppose the current one.
Okay.
We intend to work with members of the House to get it changed.
All right. Jonathan Johnson, by the way, once again, please pass on our very best to Patrick Byrne. We do love that guy. Good to see you from Overstock.com. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, and I'll let Patrick know.
I appreciate it.
Well, demand for food in